Today's episode, we are going to be joined again by Ant Wright to talk about the Detroit Pistons draft, some of their prospects, and Ausar, Thompson, Marcus Sasser, their fit on the team, and all of that moving forward in today's episode of the Locked On Pistons podcast.
You are Locked On Pistons, your daily Detroit Pistons podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Johnson with 1 second to go.
What's the deal? Welcome back to another episode of the Locked On Pistons podcast. Per usual, I'm your host, Kuka Hill. You can find me over on Twitter at Kuka Hill. I want to thank you guys for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. We're free and available on all your podcast platforms. And if you have not already, please go hit that subscribe button at the Locked On Pistons YouTube channel. We are on our way to 10,000 subscribers. Our goal is to hit 10,000 by the end of this upcoming season. 6 of the Locked On NBA channels have hit 10K. We want to be the next one. So if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button at the YouTube channel Locked On Pistons, or you can also leave us a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. That's another great way to support the podcast. And enough of the intro. Let's go ahead and get them on here, man. So I just want to let you guys know, we're going to be joined, you guys on YouTube, you guys can see him. We're going to be joined by Ant Wright today. We've had him on the podcast a few times. I'm not going to ask Ant how he's doing. I'm not going to do any of that stuff. I just want to let you guys know that heading into the podcast, I was going to tell him what we were talking about. I was going to tell him like what I was going to ask him about, et cetera, et cetera. And he stopped me. He was like, "Hey, I don't want any prep. I don't want to be told at all what we're doing. I want to be coming into here completely unprepped off the dome here." So, and do you want to give the people a reason a little bit? Is there a reason you wanted to go in like this, or you just want to get straight into content?
I don't want to be prepped on something that like I live and breathe this stuff, bro. Like that's like me trying to like prep you on like the Pistons starting lineup. You know what I mean? Like it's like I don't need to prep you on that. Like you told me to prep for like the NBA draft stuff. Like, come on, bro.
All right, fair enough.
You know,
I respect it. I respect it. A little
I
bit
got
of
a
confidence.
feeling it's gonna be, about whatever summer league drafts, Ausar. You
I got you. A level of confidence. Some might say a level of cockiness being shown, but I respect it. All right, let me ask you the first thing I want to talk about.
For sure.
Obviously, you hit it on the nail. We're going to be talking about SAR, summer league, all that stuff. But my first question I want to know is not after summer league, not before summer league, not a few days after or whatever. On the day of the draft, what was your immediate thoughts of the Pistons draft? They drafted Ausar Thompson at 5, and then Marcus Sasser. They traded up to get him at 25. What was your immediate thoughts at that time? Were they different than they are now? Did they change this? What were your immediate thoughts?
Immediate thoughts?
Right.
I remember I was at an indoor playground. I was at an indoor playground in Maryland with Walker, and I was in the spaces. It was you and like maybe like Roe and a couple other guys, and we were talking about 4 prospects. We're talking about Ausar, Taylor Hendricks. We were talking about Jarris. We were talking about Cam from Villanova. And I said, because there's gonna be pros and cons with all those guys. And I said I would not take Jarris there. I just don't think he has value at 5. Even though I love Jarris Walker's game, I like Jarris's value around 7 through 9. But I could see Whitmore, Hendricks, or Ausar at 5 get taken. I have no issue with it whatsoever. When it comes to draft day, when I thought they moved up, bro, first thing I tweeted this, I said Leonard Miller. I thought that would have been an amazing pick if they had got Leonard Miller. I'm not trying to down Sasser at all whatsoever, but if you're going to go get a 6'2 guard, he's about 6'2", 6'3".
He looks like he might be a little smaller than that. I'm not going to lie.
Maybe like 6'1". Like, yeah, so like, you're going to get a guard in the first round. Like that dude better be, he better be really, really freaking good. I was really high on someone like Nemhard last year, and he dropped quite a bit, but I'm like, like that dude could hoop. Man, I don't know why Leonard Miller dropped like that. I'm like, this dude's been playing basically pro for the last couple years, and when he was playing this past year, when I watched Scoot tape, Leonard popped out consistently. His ability to like rebound the ball and his ability to be so versatile as a post. I'm like, man, like those are the type of dudes that you would want to take a shot on, right? Because he's still young, right? So I thought they were going to move up. When they moved up, I thought they were going to get him. I honestly felt that, and we'll see how it all plays out down the line. But that was my immediate thought was I think they just missed out on a huge opportunity to really, because if you're looking at possibly boosting your front court, not that center position, but that 4, right? That's real versatile. That's why we're looking at Jarris Walker. That's why we're looking at Taylor Hendricks, right? If there's a shot that Leonard Miller could be better than both. And I thought that was an opportunity wasted, honestly. Not once again, not doubting what Marcus Sasser can be, but no, hold on.
So I'll while Ant takes a second to talk to his kid real quick. I want to point out something he was, or kind of continue to talk about that, the trading up to 25 there. So what I was going to go after this was your thoughts on Ausar, but I'd rather, after listening to you talk, I would rather we're going to just save Ausar for the second segment. We'll talk about your thoughts on Ausar, and then after Summer League, all that stuff with him in the second segment. But I kind of want to get your thoughts further on what you're talking about here at 25. Is that so a lot of Pistons fans, obviously now that Marcus Sasser has been drafted, they like Marcus Sasser. Obviously, as soon as he gets drafted, you're going to become like everyone's going to like you. But what you're pointing out is something that I've pointed out and something that a lot of people have pointed out in the Pistons community, that, again, it's not that you don't like Sasser, that Sasser's trash, or he's not going to be good. It's that this team already had Cade, Ivy, Burks, Monty Morris, they ended up trading for, and then to a lesser extent, I mean, Killian Hayes at like the third guard position. So then they just went out and you drafted another guard. So now you got 6 guards as of right now on a team where I said coming into this offseason, the 3-4 position was their biggest priority to completely revamp. I thought their wing room was the worst in the entire NBA this past season. So I wanted them to completely revamp it. And talking to some of the guys that you mentioned that we were in spaces with before the draft, they mentioned that, hey, even if they would have stayed at 31, and again, this has nothing to do with attacking Sasser. It's just talking about some other guys that maybe were available that would have hit a more position of need. Like, even if they would have stayed at 31, there are some guys at the wing position that the Pistons could have got that would have been good value too. So I'm not going to lie. I was shocked that they traded up to get another guard because, like you said, I really thought they were going to get another wing. I thought they were going to leave the draft with 2 wings because of how much of a need it was this offseason. And I like your point about Leonard Miller when you speak about like the versatility at the 4 position, because the 4 position is now what we've been talking about in the Pistons community for the last 2 weeks now. Because now Stu's gotten the contract, and now we're figuring out, okay, who's going to be the backup 4? Is Stu even good enough to be the starting 4, like long term? Like, starting power forward has been like the talk of the offseason. And they did have a position, they had a chance there at the back end of the first round to get another wing. So I guess before we wrap up the segment, 'cause I don't want to last too long, I just want to ask you a quick question about it. What do you think Sasser, in your opinion, what would Sasser have to bring or become, in your opinion, to warrant passing on the wings that you're talking about at that 25 position for the Pistons?
Nothing, because here's the thing. The point forward is like the point forward and the elite combo guard are the 2 big value positions right now, right? If you look around the league, like that's who they are. Your best versatile fours in winning time, what are they playing? The center spot.
Yep.
They're playing the 5, right? In winning time, is Sasser's ceiling going to be on the floor in many situations? He's a dog defensively, right? He should be a good off-ball shooter, right? Is that a top? They got him what, 25, 26? Mm-hmm. Is that a top 25 pick? I mean, like, I have to keep saying it. You did too. Like, it's not about Sasser. It's about getting a smaller guard in a league that is very wing reliant right now. You don't see these smaller guys really doing much, unless you're the Steph Currys, you're the Dames. Unless you're at this level, you're not really doing much on the team. And at maximum, you're leading a second unit eventually, maybe, right? In the first round, if you can go and find someone who with an extremely high ceiling, who can be a starter, who can possibly be in that mold where you see them in 4 or 5 years, they can grow to be just an MFer. I mean, like, that's why I thought someone like Leonard Miller would have been like almost a steal, in my opinion, because that would be almost like, this is going to sound crazy, but people are going to watch this in a couple years because I'm very, very confident in this dude. It's almost like they got to pick twice at 5th. Like, they not only got their wing, but they also got their versatile 4. That talent-wise, in my opinion, is on par with any other 4 in this draft. Easily. And I think I don't think any other 4 could have been as productive as him in the same situation, playing alongside who he was playing with.
Fair enough. So I just before we wrap up this segment, I want to say this quickly. I know how the comment section is about to go. I know how Pistons fans can get sometimes. This is not about Sasser not being good. No one's saying that Sasser is not good. Sasser just went crazy in that final Summer League game. I think he has a clear role for this team moving forward. Like, he can be really good. That's not what's being talked about here. No one's trying to crap on Sasser, so don't turn it into that. It's clear. I feel like it's clear what we're trying to talk about here. But anyways, when we come back, we'll talk about now the 5th overall pick, Ausar Thompson, and what he played like in Summer League, Ant's thoughts on Ausar before and after Summer League, if they changed at all after Summer League. We'll talk about that when we come back. But first, I've got to tell you guys about one of our sponsors, excuse me, FanDuel. Take your first swing at betting MLB on FanDuel and get 10 times your first bet amount in bonus bets up to $200. That's right, just bet $20 and you'll land $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. That's $200 you can spend betting on everything from the money line to the over-under to who you think is going to be the first or going to hit the first home run. All on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Plus, when you win, you can get paid instantly. There's no better place to bet on MLB than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. And I've told you guys this multiple times. Last year, towards the end of the season, I was using FanDuel a lot. I was taking the over on Jaden Ivey's assist. I was taking the over on Jaden Ivey's points. Man, it was a little bit low. I don't feel like FanDuel really caught up to how he was progressing, so I was taking advantage of it. FanDuel is a lot of fun, super safe, super secure, and you get paid instantly. It's the best sportsbook out there. So sign up today and visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get up to $200 back in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon. FanDuel, the official partner of Major League Baseball. So I want to thank you guys again for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. We're free and available on all your podcast platforms. If you haven't already, again, hit that subscribe button to the YouTube channel, Locked On Pistons. We are on our way to 10,000 subscribers. We are, I think, 90 subscribers away from 6,000. I think we can get to 10K by the end of this upcoming season. Again, 6 Locked On NBA channels have already hit 10K. We want to be the 7th. So continue to show Locked On. We're the best and fast growing fan base at the Locked On Network. Please hit that subscribe button at the YouTube channel Locked On Pistons, or you can leave us a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. And look, I know we, like you said, we've been in spaces before the draft, and you talked a lot about some of the prospects that you named earlier, like Jarris, Ausar, Hendricks, Cam, Amen. There's been a lot of guys that I've heard your overall thoughts on before the draft on some of these prospects. So when the Pistons drafted Ausar at 5, what was your thought process there when they drafted at 5? And then obviously after this, we'll go into how he looked in Summer League. But first, I just want to know what your thoughts were when the Pistons picked him at 5. You have your mic muted, I believe.
My bad.
No, you're good. You're good.
Can you
Go
hear
ahead.
me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, so here's the thing. As soon as he got drafted, I came out and I tweeted right away. My tweet said, with Ausar Thompson, the Pistons get a generational perimeter defender type ceiling, top 1% mobile athlete from day one in the NBA. Cade and Ivy can keep pressure off of Ausar to hit on the rock and make decisions, should thrive in transition and rim cutting. That's what I said right away. As soon as he got drafted, I posted that probably a minute later. Are there any holes in that? I mean, is that not what you saw for like 4 games? What, 4 or 5 games?
Yeah, he played 4 of the 5.
Yeah, so everything of what he was, nothing surprised me. Nothing surprised.
So hold on. Let me press you a little bit. Let me press you
Press
a little
me.
bit.
Press
Let me press you a little bit.
Because look, if someone has a flaw, I can get real disrespectful with it. Yo, I tweeted about his jump shot, and we talked about his jump shot all the time. It's bad. It's not good. Like, he was the better shooting twin in quotes, but like, that's not saying much. When I'm watching him in Summer League, see, like, now he's always going full speed now, right? Because he's not able to like take plays off, right? Because he's playing against other really good players. He's not playing against like 16-year-olds and 17-year-olds, right? So now we can evaluate him on a decent, like, okay, will this translate? Will that translate? He's actually going game speed, and he's playing with that want to all the time, right? He's not turning it off and on and off and on and off and on. Because if he turns it off, you just can't do that because of the environment he's in, right? So
let me ask you this. Let me just ask you this. Okay, we'll get into some of what we saw from him in Summer League.
Press me.
Just tell me this.
Diamond. Well, what you gonna do? Diamond 2-2-1?
No. Just
3-1, little 3-2 half quarter court.
Well, first of all, in high school, my coaches called it 55 and 54. That's what they called
snap. That's all. Oh, you got that full court man.
Yep, yeah, it was.
Maybe a little run and jump every now and then.
It was rough. It was rough.
That was 5 of y'all, all 5'10", but y'all crazy fast and work hard.
That was the idea in 10th grade. On varsity, it wasn't much with.
No, press me.
But all right, so when the Pistons picked him at 5,
yeah,
would you have picked him if you were the Pistons at 5, or would there be someone else? And don't go long. Just if you wouldn't have picked him at 5. Who would you have picked? And then I want to move into what you saw from him in Summer League.
If I probably would have picked him or Cam. Then I did hear about the Cam I don't know why he dropped. Someone said medical. Someone said his people did weird. I don't understand it.
I heard some weird stuff as well.
Yeah, real weird. I don't know what went on there. But I would have gone with either him or Cam. For sure. And yeah, I mean, like, if you if you really look at it, like those were the only two that really made sense leading up to the draft, and then hopefully get, a bigger wing or four down the road. But that's that.
All right, so I just want to see if you would have picked him at 5. But all right, so let's go to the summer league. League, he completely won a lot of Pistons fan over. There were some Pistons fans after the draft that weren't happy with his selection. People like me, I've been high on Ausar. I wanted Ausar, so I was extremely happy. I was over the moon. But not all Pistons fans felt that way.
Yeah.
After summer league, though, it felt like he damn near turned everyone onto his side.
Do you know why?
Huh?
Do you know why?
Oh God! All right, so just go ahead and take it from here. Go ahead.
What do you mean? You act like I'm just ready to drop a nuke, dog. Fans love him because he plays so hard and he has a high motor and he doesn't stop. He reminds me of someone. He's very. He has. I just feel he plays with that 89, 90, 04 mentality, right? All you want to do is win every possession. And, he may be lacking a few things, but at the end of the day, he's elite in things that you can't really teach. And it's a rare commodity in the league. That's having a motor, and that's being as mobile and athletic as he is at 6'7". You don't get that. You don't get an athlete with that type of motor, right? I would say Zion had it, but he was 380? No, no, 280? No, chill. Cut that. You gotta edit that. Call your editor.
No.
Hey, yo, Sam, edit that out, bro. Edit that out. No, but someone like Zion, extremely fast, extremely powerful, just never stop going. And I think one thing with the SAR is that nobody really plays like that anymore because everyone's too busy trying to look cool and be cool and all that. That's just not his game. His game is not to play pretty. His game is to go out there, be tougher than you, be faster than you, be more athletic, be more explosive than you. These are physical things, right? F the mental part, right? These are physical things. So he's going to physically wear you down. And then on top of that, he's going to be making positive plays just from always going, right? There were times when he'd go for a putback, he wouldn't get it, but I'm like, if he keeps going like that, he can get 6 to 8 points a game just off of that. How many games do the Pistons win last year if you add 8 points to their score?
They do win quite a few. They win quite a few. I won't lie.
Right. So basketball itself is a game of inches. It's a game. Hey, you could win or lose a game in just one possession. If you have someone like that who is stealing 3 to 4 possessions per game, that's the difference between, hey, are we 44 and 38, or are we 35 and 47? Right? Like where exactly are we? And being able to steal a few games, that's how teams get to the play-in. That's how teams get to become a playoff contender.
Right. And, so just real quick.
My bad.
I want to continue this conversation. But
okay.
let me get the ads in real quick. Let's get in. Let's get these in. And when we come back, I want to continue talking about what Ausar showed us and showed Ant in Summer League and what he can impact in his rookie season immediately for the Detroit Pistons this upcoming season. We'll talk about that when we come back. But first, you guys got to hear from some of our lovely sponsors. So I want to thank you guys again for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. We're free and available on all your podcast platforms. If you haven't already, head to the YouTube channel at Locked On Pistons, hit that subscribe button, or leave us a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. That's another great way to support the podcast. All right, and so I apologize for having to cut you off back there, but I have
it's all good. It's all good.
But
I was about to start talking about his jumper, but
so I thought and there's some other things I want to talk about with the Ausar, and we can run a little bit in the third segment. Like I usually run a little bit longer in the third segment to make up for it. But one of the things about Ausar that you pointed out, I think definitely won people over in the Pistons community, and there's other things I want to talk about. But one thing that you brought up for sure is like his motor. And I think you pointed out, and I've said it on the podcast numerous times since Summer League and in the games we saw, you'll see guys with motor that aren't his size. You'll see guys with motor that aren't his top, fifth percentile athleticism, like that kind of thing.
Top one. He's top one, bro.
Okay, well, there you go. Even like you don't see guys with that kind of athleticism with motor, along with his length and size, and then you combine it all into one, plus some of the other stuff I think he can do. Like it's just a rare type of archetype. And there's for example, there was a play, I saw you did a few breakdowns of Ausar of his games in Summer League. There was one play that I thought for sure just had Detroit written all over it. That probably just had Pistons fans ready to jump out their window. Like it was just it was like utter excitement. He turned the ball over. I believe it was either the first or second game. He tried to crossover drive, turned the ball over, fell down, was the last person back. He was on the ground as they're pushing transition. He gets up, sprints as quickly as possible, ends up being the first Piston back after being on the ground, stopping the transition break, or stops the fast break, ends up getting the defensive rebound off of stopping the break, and then threw a full court pass to I don't know who, I think it was Umuddy or one of the Pistons Summer League guys. But either way, that kind of relentlessness and motor combined with his transitional passing, it's just like it's like rare. It's a rare combination that you don't see very often. So I thought that was like one of the. There was multiple other plays that I really loved. I'm sure Pistons fans love, but I felt like that play right there really just spoke just directly to what you were talking about. How I'm just going to outwork you. I'm gonna play harder. I'm more athletic than you. I'm longer than you. Like I'm just going to put all this to use, and there's not much you can do against it. Like that kind of thing. So I thought that play in particular was really great. But you can go ahead and give some other thoughts you had that I cut you off with if you.
Oh no, man, it's all good. Like when he doesn't have time to think about his jump shot, like it looks so much smoother. It looks so much more confident, right? But when he has time to okay, left, right, elbow, you know what I mean? Then he starts thinking about it. Then the shot looks way, way different. I think he just needs to just clear his mind. Of course, do your repetitions, do what you got to do and all that. But the more you rep, the less you have to think about it, which is a nice thing. But if he gets that, it's going to open up his game so much more too. Because you see guys in the pick and roll go under a screen at 14 feet, right? And that's just clogging up everything. And whenever guys went over, he was one-on-one with the big with 20 feet to operate. So hard to guard. And if he could just get a respect, it's one thing to make a jump shot, but you got to get the other team to respect your jumper, right? Those are two different things. There are guys out here who don't really make a lot of jumpers, but because teams understand that they are still a threat, they're still going to respect it, right? That respect that's what creates spacing. You could be seen as a good shooter, but you're still not allowing spacing because they don't respect your shot, because there's just certain times when hey, yeah, he can hit that, but at the same time, on ball is more threatening than anything else. But if he gets that, his game is just going to open up like crazy. Because when he gets downhill, he does need to tighten his handle, a little bit more wiggle when he's hitting these bigger players he's faster than. But when he gets that and he gets downhill, it's going to be really, really hard to guard.
What do you think about his? So with going downhill and the stuff around the rim and everything, I think he has to improve his footwork too. He takes off from too far a lot of times. If he just takes and that has to do with his handle too. If he trusts his handle to take one more dribble through defense at the nail, guys trying to swipe down whatever, it probably would help his footwork a lot. So that kind of goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
So I agree with that. He has to improve it, tighten his handle up, and improve his footwork around the rim. That would really help him a lot.
His gather's not very good. Once he gets his gather step right, it's going to be different. Like finishing at the rim, dunking on people, posting.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
Because he doesn't use it, then he kind of fades. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, you were 6'7" with like a 100-inch vert, right? Just use the gather, and then you get your steps, and then just jump. Nobody, because that's your 1%, right? You have about 18 to 19 feet to show off your 1%. And if he can really fine tune that, it's going to be another level for him, man. Another level. It's going to be ugly.
So before we wrap up the podcast, I want to ask you about this. You mentioned his defense earlier. I'm not going to ask you about the defense, but it was very clearly on display. There was times when he was just wreck. I forget whose defense it was. It might have been the Rockets or something. I don't know which one it was.
He was on Grady Dick on the Raptors.
Oh yeah, he was. Oh yeah, it was the Raptors for sure. It was definitely the Raptors. I think the Raptors is the one he had like the dagger layup and transition after knocking the ball up, out jumping the dude, and then taking off and finishing with his left. Yeah. I think that was the Raptors game. So yeah, he was torturing them on defense. But I want to know what your thoughts are with his passing, because Amen is someone I was very high on too. I think I had Amen as the third best prospect in the draft. I think he's absolutely fantastic. And Amen is a different level of passer than Ausar, I believe. He's on a different level. But I think Ausar is a good passer too, a pretty good one, and he has a good feel as a passer. But I feel like in transition in the summer league, it was like next level. Every time he got the ball in semi-transition, fast break, he got the defensive rebound pushed. I joked around on the podcast. You're going to love this. I joked around the podcast, and I felt like every time he pushed in transition, you were getting that Magic Johnson, like that kind of thing. I feel like every time you were getting like a highlight pass from him in transition. What do you think about his passing overall? Not just in transition, but as him as like a secondary ball handler, a secondary creator in the half court. Are you higher and lower on either? Like, where are you at with that?
I'm not that high on him in the half court yet, honestly. But in transition in space, when he doesn't have to think, bro, he's at his peak. When he doesn't have to worry about, okay, cut here, do this, do that. When he's in transition and secondary break, whether on or off the ball, you could see like that's where he's most comfortable. Because there's no plays being called. He's not being told what to do. He's just out there kind of seeing and doing, right? He's not the passer that Amen is. I think he has the vision. But getting it from A to B, like that's something that he may have to work on a bit, whether he has to come off a curl a certain way, whether he has to attack a PNR a certain way, not to attack, but to make that next pass. Like, hey, should I go hard right? Should I go hard left? Based off of help defense, based off of where the shooters are, not I got to beat this guy, then I'll figure it out, right? It's, oh, look, shooters in the corner. This guy is helping here. I'm going to hit this guy to get hard to my left, right? And then then I'm just going to see what he does, right? And then you just reattack. I think when it comes to like, where are you? Who would you want to have the ball in transition this year? Like if it's Cade, Ivy, and him on the court.
Ausar.
And then Ivy and Cade on the wings.
Well, like I want Cade push. So it depends. Like I really have no preference between any of them because all of them can push and find somebody and do their thing. Cade pushing it with Ivy and Ausar like streaking the wings, like is terrifying. I feel like with like Duran streaking behind him down the like that sounds crazy. But also I really hope like so. I guess my answer would be like Cade and Ausar because Cade will like I feel like Cade has really good feel in the transition too with the guy streaking in the wings. But then also like Ausar is just really I feel like he's gonna be really special off defensive rebounds and then grabbing and going or immediate outlets and letting him kind of attack retreating defenses and be able to make reads off his athleticism and stuff. So like and I already know how Pistons fans are gonna take this. They're gonna I'm gonna get comments and they're gonna say, "Why are you hating on Jane Ivy?" And it's not. It happens every time. So Ivy, I'd have no problem with Ivy doing it either. Like all three of them can do it. But like I don't know. I think let me spin it around at you. Who do you think's a better athlete, Ausar or Ivy?
Ausar or a better athlete?
Yeah.
Is Ivy a top 1% athlete in the league?
I think Ausar is a better athlete, but there's a lot of fans out there that believe
it's
Ivy
not
is better.
Close. It's not even. They're not even on the same planets.
So I bring that up not to. This is not me trying to diss Ivy. Ivy's great, but I'm just saying like I
watched him at Purdue since like year one. Yeah, like they're not close.
So I think the Pistons. This is why I'm so happy about the Pistons core because I think having Ivy or Cade, Ivy, Ausar, and Duran, that's like a great core four to have. I'm really happy with all of it. I'm just saying to answer your question. I just really hope we do get. It's not to say I don't want to see Ivy pushing and break. I want to see him pushing it too. I just really hope we do get a heavy dose of like Ausar grabbing and going, or Duran getting a rebound and immediately outlet into Ausar and letting him just sprint and out and like. I just hope we get a heavy dose of that. Not none from Ivy or none from Cade. I just hope we get a heavy dose of it from Ausar too.
Do you trust? Because you guys still got Bogdanovich, right?
Yeah.
Man, I think in winning time, bro, I think that will be like a really good lineup.
What lineup?
Bogdanovich at like that 3-4 with the SAR, and then having Durant at the 5 or whoever you want down there.
You're gonna get you're trying to set your mentions on fire right now with this right here.
I don't know why, like
because you don't have Stu in the closing lineup.
Stu, your boy. How much is he making now?
16 a year, I think.
16 a year,
I believe.
Shouts out to him, bro. Shouts out to him.
Oh yeah, he got paid. Happy for him.
Shouts out to him. You know, give him the ball in transition.
To go back to your lineup, I brought that lineup up on here. That like I don't think they start with it. I don't think they're benching Stu. I think Stu's.
You could have Stu at the 5 too. I mean, you could have him at the 5.
Well, like you're going down a rabbit hole a little bit here.
But we're looking. But like people keep getting caught up in you gotta have a big man on the court. Look at the NBA. Like unless you are a premier big, you are not playing late in the game, bro. Right? Outside of Embiid and Joker, who's playing as a big? Bam? Okay, but Bam is really good, really versatile, right? But still, how tall is he? Like 6'9"?
Mm-hmm.
How many like real bigs are out here playing in winning time? Like Anthony Davis is really a 4, right? Like if you're not a premier big like that, if you're not on that level, like all NBA, you're not gonna play. You're just not gonna play in winning time. Once again, nothing to do with who you are, whatever. But that's the meta right now. Like you gotta have someone versatile at the 5, ready to shoot the ball and be tough.
You know who Duran's one of the comps Duran gets a lot from the community?
Does he get a lot of Bam?
Yeah.
Here's what I would say. I compared him out of high school to more like a Chris Webber. Duren's feet have got to get much, much better.
You mean like out on the perimeter?
Yes, like his feet, his agility is not Bam. That's my biggest question mark, and that's my biggest. These two are not the same.
Yeah, it definitely that's going to be one of the things that's something we've talked about too. That figuring out what defense you want to run with Duren. It seems like that they're going to go drop. That's going to be his thing. Cause I also agree with you that I see some of the similarities with him on offense, especially like the playmaking and running some stuff to him at the high
great
post.
Passing, right? 100%.
But I agree with you that his foot speed and his overall mobility on the perimeter isn't close to Bam's. Now, it's not that it's trash. I'm not trying to say Duren's trash and can't get there, but I think I agree with you. That is the biggest differentiator or difference there. I don't know what I was trying to say just now, but the biggest. I don't know what I was trying to say, but difference between the two. But I think he's going to end up being more of a drop coverage big. So like the two main comparisons that he gets in the Pistons community be Bam and young Dwight. But Dwight, I feel like
I could see more. I could see a little bit of Dwight, but still, Dwight. It's his feet. Like his feet got to get better. He's not. As a defender, his versatility is just not there yet. And we're talking about a dude who's 19.
Yep, 19. I literally just said this in the last episode. We're talking about a dude at 19. We're like probably like 4, 5, 6 years away from his like defensive prime. Like
but that's one thing that he's going to have to hard focus on. There's a lot of dudes out here who really had to change their bodies, change the way that their ligaments and all these things are working for him. He's going to have the resources to make that happen. But when that happens, then I'm like, okay, this dude could be an all NBA type talent. But until that changes, then he's just going to be he can still be a really, really good big. But are you the type that can change a whole franchise just because your presence is on that team? Joel Embiid changes the Sixers, right? Jokic changes the Nuggets. Anthony Davis, his presence changes the Lakers. So Durant has got to be more. He's got to be much better from a versatile standpoint on that end to really be able to like start trajecting to that type of tier.
All right. Well, we'll leave it off there. That's one of the things about Duren. Last thing I'll say is that has me so excited about him is that I know a lot of Pistons fans aren't going to have the patience or want to have the patience to hear this. But that's why it's so like Duren is so intriguing to me out of this young core because he's 19 and has already showed so many like raw talents that he has. Yeah. And like you have like 6, like we're talking about a dude, like people talk about people's primes being like 26, 27, 28 years, like those type of years. He's like 7 years away from that. Like we're talking like 7. He's like 7. We're not even like close, not even close to his best yet. And like that's why I be trying to tell Pistons fans like you gotta be patient with this. Like you gotta have a level of patience because what you're gonna get from him in the next like in 23, 24, and 25, you're not gonna that's not gonna be his peak form. You're gonna be trying to put too many. I'm gonna go down a rabbit hole if I keep going, but we'll leave it off there.
Look! Watching players grow and improve after every season and off season. That's what creates fans, right? That's what creates fans, and that's what gets them coming back, and that's what gets them falling in love more and more with their team. Is seeing the development, seeing the growth, remembering where they were a few years ago, and seeing where they are today. And that same person signs a max to stay in your city. Now they love you even more because you want to be here and win here. So I think all that just goes hand in hand.
All right, fair enough. We'll wrap it up there. Appreciate you, Ant, coming on the podcast, man. I might get Ant back on before the season, but
how you feel about Matt Barnes?
We can't. I'm not going to speak on Matt Barnes. What he said. You're trying. Ant's trying to start some stuff on the podcast, but. Appreciate you, Ant, coming on. You guys can follow Ant on Twitter at It's Ant Wright. You can also see some of his work at Full Ride Network at Big Coast to Coast. And what's your let everyone know where your personal stuff you're doing.
I'm doing a lot of stuff. I'm doing a lot. Like I'm doing a lot, bro.
Okay, just Just
It's
follow
Ant
him on
Wright.
Twitter. You'll
Just
see all
go
of
to
it.
just go to Twitter. If you want to look at all my other stuff, it's in the Beacons. Fluoride Network, I got like 16 or 17 fan sites right now. Yeah, so it's
Just follow. In short, just follow him on Twitter. You'll see all of it. You'll get all the experience. So
yes.
appreciate you coming on, man. I appreciate all of you guys making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. Hit that subscribe button to the YouTube channel. Leave us a 5-star review, whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Stay safe. Till next time, peace out.
Can we get a Locked On Ant? Can we get a Locked On Ant? What you